Greetings all. This is Baba Mosi, my similar president of the Woodson Banneker Jackson Bay Division 330 UNIA ACL 2020, and moderating this evening's Freedom Friday Forum together with brother of the Baba Congo, Africa. I'm not sure if he's on yet, but we have to start at 7 o'clock, and several people have already called me, and I don't want to get into all that. So here we go. If you don't mind, let me read from as part of our ritual, part of our opening for our Freedom Friday Forum. We do the out of our Constitution, the UNIA ACL Constitution. We have a couple of things we need to get done so that for those folks who don't know who we are and who would like to know more of what we do, you will understand from where I'm coming. So, first, I'll read the preamble from the Constitution. Okay.
Greetings, Baba Mosi. We are unable to see you. So if you could please turn on your camera.
Oh, it got off again.
There we go. Beautiful.
I am so very sorry.
No worries.
All right, let's, okay, this is the preamble from the Constitution of the UNIA ACL. Okay. The Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League is a social, friendly, humanitarian, charitable, educational, institutional, constructive, and expansive society, and is founded by persons desiring to the utmost to work for the general uplift of the Negro peoples of the world. And the members pledge themselves to do all in their power to conserve the rights of their noble race and to respect the rights of all mankind, believing always in the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. The motto of the organization is one God, one aim, one destiny. Therefore, let justice be done to all mankind, realizing that if the strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man. But with love, faith, and charity towards all, the reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and the generations of men shall be called blessed. I also would like to, this is added because of course, again, I want everyone to understand what the UNIA is all about and what's our intent when it comes to dealing with African peoples. Okay, our objects and aims. The object of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League shall be to establish a universal confraternity among the race, to promote the spirit of pride and love, to reclaim the fallen, to administer to and assist the needy, to assist in civilizing backwardness in Africa, to assist in the development of independent Negro nations and communities, to establish commissionaries of agencies in the principal countries and cities of the world for the representation and protection of all Negroes, irrespective of nationality, to promote a conscientious spiritual worship among native tribes of Africa, to establish universities, colleges, academies, and schools, the racial education and culture of the people, to conduct a worldwide commercial and industrial intercourse for the good of the people, to work for better conditions in all Negro communities. Now you must understand as you hear the language, this is language coming out of the first century ago when this Constitution was promulgated. So that is giving you part of what we do as a ritual, or I should say our protocol for the beginning of the Freedom Friday Forum. We also would like to do something else. Now, I'm reading this official UNIA pledge to the flag. And why I'm doing this? Our flag, the red, black, and green, was created by the UNIA. Many people around the world, in the United States and elsewhere, seeing the red, black, and green, they give it all kinds of names. You know, the African American flag, the freedom flag, you know, all kinds of names. And you know, we don't want that because it seems like these people who are giving it these names are unaware that this is the flag of the UNIA ACL. It was brought in 100 years ago, and we still own it. So you should know that that's our flag. And this flag we do a pledge to. I commit my body, mind, and spirit to the protection, defense, and security of the red, black, and green. I dedicate my life to the redemption of Mother Africa and the liberation of her scattered Black children. I accept for myself and my descendants the teachings of universal African nationalism, and I promise that our children will be instilled with the purpose and knowledge of themselves as African people, in order that the cause of our struggle will neither falter nor fail until all Black people are free and united through one God, one aim, one destiny. I thank you. And on board with me now is also Baba Congo, Africa, Vice President of the Division 330, UNIA ACL Rehabilitating Committee 2020. This forum tonight, we have several people. We have people on the board. Let's see. With us is Èzili Dantò. We also have, we should be having Eugenia Charles. Then we have Dr. Chenzira Kahino, Dr. David Horn. Dr. Chenzira is the UNIA ACL Commissioner General for the Caribbean and Central America, and one of our international experts in the leading people of the UNIA ACL. Dr. Horn is our international organizer and another person of international scope and also a scholar. So in making that introduction, I see the good sister Èzili Dantò is ready. She was ready to jump in there and get things going. So I also would like to mention that as you will notice that the theme of this Freedom Friday Forum is Haiti freedom. And Haiti freedom, and what else? Who is really eating the soup Joumou? Now, first, well, of course, asking that question, I will leave that up to Sister Èzili to explain to you what that soup Joumou is and why it may have some relevance to the question as to considering the occurrences of things today and in the past and history of the Haitian people. So let me turn this over to you, Sister Èzili, because I know you are ready to roll. Greetings, my sister. You're muted. You're muted.
I think can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Honor and respect. Is Dr. Sharon?
Chenzira, Dr. Chen, she's here.
I am here, and what I will do, give me a moment, because I think proper protocols should be established. So let me just give the listeners a very concise
Yes.
vision of who is about to share and give firsthand perspective on who is really eating the soup Joumou and some of the history connected to the revolution that is ongoing in Haiti and how important that is and how centripetal it is, particularly to the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League Rehabilitating Committee 2020. And with that, I just want to just take a moment to just reflect, asking the Creator to be ever present, because some of the things that will be shared may be things that people are not accustomed to hearing. Some of the things that are going to be shared are coming from the voice of a sister queen who always keeps the vibration of African women lead, African women arise, African women in the forefront of revolutionary struggle for more than 30 plus years and counting. So this is not just a academic discussion. It is based on lived experience. And I just would like for persons, when they hear us speak of Èzili Dantò, that we are referencing a powerful energy. And I just want to take a moment of reflection in that regard. I also wish to make sure that we bring our ancestors in the center of whatever this conversation we're going to have tonight, because it's required and they are commanding that. So even before we go into all of that, I just would like to just take a moment. Just asking the ancestors to be ever present so that we can give thanks and praise for what we're sharing, what we're bringing forward, and how we're moving this discussion, this idea, this, what some people like to say is a versation. And it's even deeper than all of that. Because at the end of the day, really, at the end of the day, we're speaking about the authentic revolution, the real African liberation, fundamentalism, all of that, that has its root in this space we know as Haiti and is still suffering because of that. And so we have to crush all of that. Okay, I'm set back. Our beloved sister queen, Èzili Dantò, is a human rights and international law attorney, an award-winning playwright, a performance poet, and a cultural activist. Born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and raised in the US, she is a Hayti scholar and runs the Èzili Network, the Free Haiti Movement, the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network, Èzili Designs, and Èzili Dlo, Clean Water, Renewable Power, and Skills Transfer for Haiti. Èzili is the author of 10 plays and 2 book series. She regularly conducts Haiti teach-ins on the non-colonial narrative on Haiti, centering on Haiti's wealth, natural resources, revolutionary culture, Voodoo spirituality, and her expression of this through the Voodoo jazz poetry performance productions. Èzili was featured as a Haitian scholar and historian in the documentary 1804, The Hidden History of Haiti. In 2018, Èzili was honored at the Connecticut Women Hall of Fame for her lifetime work in justice and cultural advocacy works. I will share the links so for persons that want to know more detail, but let us please give a warm, resounding welcome to our sister queen, Èzili Dantò.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon. Trenzera, thank you very much. I always do appreciate you. I love the work that you do. I love that you have recognized the work that we do and that we are elevating Black women who have been fighting and been denying a voice for centuries. I run the Free Haiti movement. Why is there a Free Haiti movement? We have been colonized since 1806 with the assassination of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Haiti's founding father. In this time, at this moment, These are very important cosmological, psychological, and spiritual times for us Vodouists, for us Haitians. It is a time of so many things. And so before I even begin, when we enter a space, we say honor and respect. So honor and respect to UNIA, all their members, and all the work that's been done in the name of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. His spirit is in the line of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And Jean-Jacques Dessalines has no peer, in our opinion. And the Free Haiti movement elevates and gives voice to his vision of what a free world looks like. And it is not bourgeois democracy, and it is not profit over people. It is where human beings are more important than money, and nature is given to us in trust. And so at this moment, we are a people of spirit and a people who study nature. January 1st is our Independence Day in 1804. And Haitians celebrate that by doing something that the colonists, the terrorists, had forbidden them to do, which was we had created it's a soup. It's called soup Joumou. So I'll just begin there. And the women who created this marvelous cultural thing for us were not allowed, the men and women were not allowed to drink it because the European thought that it was too good for us. So the minute we got our independence, this is why we celebrate with soup Joumou. Who is drinking soup Joumou right now? Really, honestly, for me, every Haitian who is able to does. It's something that is passed down from family member to family member. It's something you.
Since you got boogies.
Hello? It's something that mothers, grandmothers, this is what they do, and this is what they put together for January 1st, in remembrance of the warriors of the Haitian Revolution. Interesting anecdote is the terrorists, those who are oppressing Dessalines' children today, the United Nations, who is used as a arm and tool of imperialism since it was created and funded by the Rockefellers, has just announced that this is a national world heritage, the soup. We laugh, of course, and we remember the names of the women like Professor Baena Bella, who have been serving the poor with bowls of soup on January 1st in a symbolic gesture to remember who we are, what we are, and our connection to nature, to the roots. Soup Joumou, we are an island surrounded by water and mountains and caves and crystals and energy and cosmic rays and iridium. And all of this comes in our dust. Haiti is 1 billion years old. And the fruits of that earth is what keeps Haiti and Haitien alive today. Without that, I would not be here. Without the roots and the market women and what they make out of nothing. So those who are interested in just what that recipe is, it's everywhere now. But there was a point in time when, just like the name Èzili Dantò, nobody knew what that was. And one day, hopefully, I await the day when the Abrahamic religions remember the great mother of everything. Èzili Dantò is one name for it. So 12 years ago, January 12th, we just had the 12th anniversary of the apocalyptic Haiti earthquake. I will use that to tell you where Haiti is today. And 33 seconds on January 12th, 2010, over 316,000 Haitians were killed in 33 seconds. And then the vultures and the vampires came. Haiti is a reflection of US and Euro, and we might as well just make it Eurasian inhumanity towards the poor and African since their new world began. It is a microcosm of a larger society. There's 7.5 billion people on the planet. Less than 1% control most of the wealth. Haiti is a microcosm of that. It's just that because Haiti is so small, you can see it very, very clearly in Haiti, where you can't see it sometimes with the propaganda, what we call Najoki. What does Free Haiti does? I mean, I'm not repeating myself anymore. That is 2019. I've told everyone I'm going to move forward. Those who want to know what we do as Free Haiti and what the ideals of Jean-Jacques Dessalines are, what the template to beat white supremacy is, I have said it for all of the time. Najoki is the tools of empire. Bafiote are the Black collaborators. Mandela is the colonist. That's just three things. There's nothing else. And Mandela doesn't change. We actually don't change either. And that's why we still have not gotten rid of the colonists. Free Haiti stands in the shoes, and we are one body with the ancestors who did the revolution. And they said, Kanga Mandela, Kanga Bafiote, Kanga Najoki, Kanga Yo. And that means we have to stop the Mandela, the colonists. And that literally in the Kinkongo language of Queen Nzinga means the stranger. We are original to the planet. Everywhere we stepped, a Black person has been. Mandela got here 6 to 12,000 years ago. Has destroyed or is trying to destroy nature. Our job is to lift up the natural laws, which is that human beings are free. They are not just labor. They are not just not consumers. They are just not Abrahamic sinners. They are born free. Their world is abundant. But the new world that was created in 1492 is the updated feudal social order. And Haiti has been an international crime scene hidden by false benevolence, false religions, false brotherhood, false charity, false aid, and that the do-gooders, white liberals, either the fox or the wolf, same thing, right? They don't deal with the serpentine path that we do. They deal with the hero and the villain, the evil and the good. We are about the serpentine path, just like nature. And so we just came from the winter solstice, and this new sun year of 2022 is rising. And in this new sun year, we at the Èzili Network are looking at all the destruction of the last 218 years of profit over people. And we know, we know that the ancestors are back. We know that there is a cosmic purge happening. We understand that. We are here to be the vessel for it. We are here to motivate, activate, assist any of those who want to be one-pointed towards the liberation of the Black woman and the Black males, children, which will be the liberation of all sentient beings. I don't know where you would like me to take this, except to say that duplicity and hypocrisy is hard to absorb. So most of our people are in a grind that they've been put into, a matrix that consists of the Nojoki we talk about with our ancestors when they were at Bois Caïman on August 14, 1791. They had studied 300 years of European enslavement. They had studied over 1,000 years of Arab enslavement, and they had been fighting that. We are the descendant of Grand Toya, Défilé, Marie-Jeanne. These are the women of the Haitian Revolution, and they exist today. They are the backbone of the Haitian economy, but you will not hear about them from Miami Herald or the PhD Haitians or the Haitians that the United States put in front of you. You will not hear about them from CARICOM or those who think that somehow without money, media, and military, we somehow are free. So we say here that we are free Haiti. We bring the culture of our ancestors. We lift up spirit. We lift up the energies of the biosphere. And that's kind of what we do. Whatever you see that's happening in Haiti, that's in the New York Times, I'll give you an example. In 2004, Mandela came back to Haiti on the 200th anniversaries of independence, and they got rid of the democratically elected Haitian president. Since then, they have brought only dictatorship, but you won't hear that from anywhere else. They only bring dictatorship. They put into power drug dealers and other collaborators who they have documents on that they can just quickly put into New York, Miami jail. I don't really want to go through all those details because we have made the commitment not to deal with the Great Haitian Disaster story. So, loi racine yo rive, loi racine yo loi, loi racine yo la, okay? So that means that our roots, that which holds us up from back to the beginning of time, that has risen. What people call revolution of the masses is an illusion, because only a small percentage is awake and will be able to be one-pointed, no matter what the graven images show, because the graven images only show you Haiti's incompetence, Haiti's poverty, Haiti's worthlessness to the powers that be. But I'm here to tell you this, that Haiti rose right after the United States came into being. The United States is a land created by slave makers. Haiti is a land created by those who beat slave makers. That's who we are. That's what our destiny is. We don't have the media, for that to be the most important thing you hear about Haiti. But if you remember nothing from what I say, and I say this all the time, besides, how to be, what is the template, and how you must be one-pointed, and how you cannot manifest from crisis, you must manifest. You must manifest from being one-pointed and understanding that you can't create from disaster. You must create from being able to see who and what you are and what our future always was. Guinée posée. So Haiti, if you want to just get the nitty-gritty real quick, between Venezuela and Cuba, the Eurasians have made a deal to hold the balance of power right there. Once Haiti frees itself, the Eurasian balance of power dies. Africa, which is 3 times the size or 4 times the size of Russia, India, Europe, you can put all those 3 right in there. Russia, India, Europe, they have billions of people. They have each of those, India and China have about 2 billion. The whole 53 nations in the continent of Africa is about that amount. So they're the ones they want to depopulate when our continent is the biggest continent on the planet. But so is our soul, so is our destiny, so is our resources. We have the most. And so those who don't obviously are always going to downplay who and what we are. But we are here to free Haiti so that the rest of the Caribbean nations could stop calling France and Russia, not France and the other European powers bowing down to them. But that is the reason why they marginalize us and make as if we don't exist. I always think Dr. Shenzira for always remember that we do exist and we are here and we fight back. It is because the people of Haiti fought back the fake election that put in drug dealers like the indicted money laundering Jovenel Moïse. It is because the Haitian people have always fought back that they have these ambassadors who have exposed their non-neutrality. They're called the core group in Haiti, and they are the specific. They come from specific countries, enslaving countries, colonizing countries, and countries that, like Brazil, that the United States want to maintain as a fellow enslaver of Black people. So they all have come to tiny little Haiti, and the United States has built its largest embassy in the Western Hemisphere in Haiti. And so that's where that linchpin is. And Free Haiti is here to tell you that we've already won. They know it. They had to kill their own puppet, Jovenel Moïse. We say it all the time. New York Times won't say it. The United States allowed or orchestrated his assassination. And we've always said why. Why? Well, as I always tell people, I was raised in the belly of the beast because my family could not give us an education in Haiti under Duvalier. And the United States kept Duvalier there because they said that he was not going to be, or he's against communism. Well, lo and behold, their own puppet before he died. Not only did he travel to Turkey to make a deal with Turkey on behalf of Haiti, but he also accepted the credentials of the Venezuelan Russian ambassador. So the New York Times will never tell you that. And that's how close Haiti is to destroying their geopolitics. And so they had to make a example of him so that the rest of the Black collaborators will never think of playing the Mandela the way Toussaint Louverture played Mandela. But remember, Toussaint Louverture always wanted to be a colony of France. Jean-Jacques Dessalines wanted Black independent nations, and that's what we are, Black and independent spiritual people connected to nature. I think I'm going to stop right there. I think I did Soup Joumou, the Boakaima call, the template for beating white supremacy, told you about the large, humongous interests of the Eurasians in Haiti. I'll be here for questions or more clarity if you guys would like.
Thank you, Sister Queen, for that, for your presentation there. But, you know, there's, uh-oh. This is Sister Eugenia Charles trying to reach me because she needs to get in. So pardon me. If you have any questions, folks, for the Sister Queen, the floor is open. Otherwise, okay. Sister Chan, okay.
It's not a question as much as it's just an appreciation for you
Okay.
being able to give us a very clear picture of what has happened in Haiti, the historiography of what has transpired in Haiti, and I'm going to keep that line that I focus on. If Haiti is not free and fully liberated and people of Haiti not chastised anywhere they go on the earth, none of us are free. I'm going to say that again. It is one of the only nations in the Caribbean that is the foundation, cornerstone piece of African liberation, freedom, all of these things we speak of, revolution, independence, all of that. And that is why we are consistently attacked because of that liberating spirit, because they represent spiritually, in addition to politically and economically and otherwise, the strength of African people in the world. From little island in the middle of the Caribbean. And it's not little. It may look small, but when you look at the history and the influence that Haiti has had on the earth, and everyone that has had to pass through Haiti for a variety of reasons, colonial peace, indigenous times, the strength has to be honored and represented and respected. And even the things that are going on as we speak, where you have Haitians that are being deported back to Haiti when the countries that claim they care are exploiting, terrorizing, lynching, raping, and bleeding out the people of Haiti for economic gain. So I just need to make sure that when we say these things about that we support Haiti and we envelop free Haiti movement, etc., we have to put our energy, our spirit, our prayer, our strength, our dollars, whatever currency you use, so that we can authentically get this yoke off of Haiti. No Haitian should be in a mode of sufferation in 2022 anywhere. They should not be struggling in Guyana, as we've had sisters like Professor Charlene Wilkinson, who has been kind enough through the Caribbean Justice Network to share with us what is going on with people of Haiti that were actually invited to come to Guyana and then treated very poorly. We can speak to what's going on in other parts of the earth, much less America. I think enough has been said. I don't like to give Babylon more energy than required because the demonism is clear. We have to make a transformational shift so that Haiti is restored to that space of power, authentic sovereignty all the time. So we can stop having this particular discussion. Maybe the next discussion will be on the other spaces and places where we can liberate and move things forward and get the yoke off of our brothers and sisters' neck in Haiti. That's really just what I wanted to offer and share. And I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for talking about the Holocaust. We are the most hated ethnicity in the Caribbean. And so It is what it is. Once they found out that Haiti had money, then people would say, oh, come. And Haitians are unfortunately selling their property to buy visas to these nations. They get bled out. And so the whole thing is I tell Haitians, you know, use what's in your hand. There's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. Get rid of what's in Haiti. Kenneth Merton, the core group, Michel Sisson, we curse them and all their descendants and issues from now to the beginning of time. They will not breathe because we are Haitian and we understand why they breathe. It is because of those collaborators who make them think it is okay to make us collateral damage to American exceptionalism. It is not. We are as important. We all, every human being, as important as any of these white colonists and their collaborators. We are as we all
Yeah, Brother Zama, are you trying to ask a question? Oh? Okay, I guess not. Thank you for that, Dr. Chen, and Queen Èzili. Now, symbolically, I understand what you're saying about not wanting to repeat a lot of what you have done before regarding maybe historical aspects, maybe condemnations, maybe finger pointing, maybe whatever it is. But, you know, we have to act like how I guess the Christian churches and all those others do when it comes to letting people know what it is they need to know. And they do that every single day. They say the Lord's Prayer every day. I mean, and hour after hour. So repeating this, so folks, we can't be weary or get tired. We have to be energized. We have to continue because they need it. It's what I think will sooner or later register in their minds that they need to do certain things to really be free. Now, I mean, when I talk about the soup Joumou and ask the question, it's a symbolic thing in the sense that today we still have the rich and they have a certain lifestyle and they're denying the Haitian people that lifestyle because they can only have that lifestyle if they deny the Haitian people the resources that they need for themselves to rise up or to progress, to go forward, to have a higher standard of living. And it's that soup Joumou, I think, is symbolic of what that denial is. And this is why the question came up as to who is really eating the soup Joumou. In the sense, we know, and we can talk about this, we know that they're very rich people in Haiti. And we know, and you mentioned some of them, you said that the Eurasian and others, but we also have Haitians. But what about the people in the countryside? Are they aware of what is going on, let's say, in the cities, how they're being denied? Is this awareness there? What, I mean,
yes,
your opinion
yes.
of that?
Yes. Haitians are the most politically aware people, I would say, more so than, like, let's say, Americans. They understand. I mean, imagine what nation would have their so-called president assassinated, and IT just keeps going. And we've had Jovenel Moïse assassinated, what, 6 months ago? So there's really no functioning government. I remember when I was representing President Jean-Bertrand Aristide back in 1994, that we had less than 5,000 policemen. And people used to say, well, how is that possible? You know, you've got, at that time, 9-10 million people, and there's only 5,000 policemen. The point of the matter is, we've always, as Haitien or Haitian, for those who don't understand what that means, I don't use the word because that wasn't his original pronunciation, right? Haiti is the original pronunciation. Hate is what the European decided to pronounce it as. But my grandmother, who lived in the rural area, and my great grandmother, they would get up in the morning, 2 o'clock, to walk to market. They've been doing that for centuries. They are the backbone, not only in Haiti, but in Africa, of the informal economy. I have sat with all kinds of theoretical Pan-Africanists. And when I say to them, who is the backbone of the economies of your community, they don't really focus on that. Well, the point of the matter is, they never gave my grandmother anything. These politicians, they only came to take. So she got taxed at the marketplace and received no services. So for me, yes, she understands very well that politicians, I remember they used to say, they're just going to come here to take your land. And that's what they saw the politicians as, the ones appointed, sanctioned by the imperialists to come in and say, this land that you've had for 300 years, we're going to make it eminent domain so that some tourists, some former plantation descendant can come in and create, they say, jobs. So they take their lands and then they leave them with nothing. That's how Haitian Haitians see politicians. So the rural areas are they know very well what politicians are about in the Republic of Port-au-Prince. When they had a president that was controlled by the international community, his sole job was to sell off Haiti and give his immediate entourage access to their land, their resources, and so forth. They understand clearly what neocolonialism is and how the Black collaborators operate. They understand that right now there's a purge happening, that there's an exposure of these people. And they know that the Republic of Port-au-Prince, where all the internationals live behind gates, right? They live behind these, because this is the one Wakanda for them, right? They live behind these security gates, where inside that is the most luxurious beauty, access to the best technology. It's right in the middle of enslavement and slums. That's the Chinese way of living. That's the European way of living. They had it way back in the day with their cities. But that is not Dessalines' way. Dessalines' way is the way the peasants in Haiti are living. You're not going to get that, but they live in community. And these places called La Cou, that families have a piece of land that they have, my family, piece of land that they've had since the revolution. And you can have pieces go to members of your family. And they used to be 70% farmers in Haiti. They were trying to push them off to come into the cities. And then what happened? You have these slums. So to answer your question, Haitien may not know the Boakaima call, right? They may not know it. Some of them may not know it. A lot of them do, because our culture and our being is through word of mouth. It's not through the books of the European. Joumou did not come to me through some book. Èzili Dantò did not come to them through some book, right? So we may not give energy to that because we want to read a book, but I promise you that Haitien in the rural areas, they know what the politicians are about. They know what the core group is. They actually know that the core group is made up of the United States, France, Canada, Britain, England, Brazil. They know because they brought Brazil to Haiti and Brazil brought their mess to us. There was never any kidnapping in Haiti until the Brazilians came. There was never in any of these men in pink homosexuality that has become the thing. But that's what Northern tourism brings and the Catholic Church brings. I know because I've spent a lot of my legal career bringing to justice these charity workers who come in and violate our children. So yeah, they know who they are, but they don't quite know exactly how to fight back, except what they've been doing is going into the streets and saying no. The leadership sells itself. But right now, I'm telling you, that leadership that sells itself, it's been exposed.
Grateful. I think, Baba Mosi, we may elect to
Yes.
introduce
President
the illustrious Sister Queen, Eugenia
Charles.
Charles Konobit-Lake.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome.
Sister Eugenia Charles. All right, let me give you a little back. Sister Eugenia Charles, she is also Haiti born. She's the executive director of Fondasyon Mapou and host and executive producer of Kombit Lakai, which is a Haitian news and cultural program broadcast on Saturdays from 9 to 10 p.m. on WPFW 89.3 FM in Washington, D.C., which is also online on www.pfwfm.org.
Baba Mosi, excuse me, Baba Mosi. Baba Mosi, please speak up. You're very low. Speak up a little bit, please. Yes.
Okay. You sure you don't need to turn your volume? Okay. Is everybody hearing me now? Can you hear me better now?
No, you're very low, Baba Mosi.
I can hear him, no, Baba.
I
can hear him. So we're just gonna, you can keep it like where it's at. I don't want you to have to yell.
Yeah.
Baba Mosi.
Okay. I think that issue is not, it's coming from his direction. Anyway, yes, as I was saying, Sister Eugenia Charles, she's a prominent radio personality here in Washington, D.C. with the Haitian community. She updates us every week. We are lucky to have her on a station that is there for our people, progressive station, a jazz and justice station. So without any further ado, Sister Eugenia Charles, unmute yourself and let us hear what you have to say concerning your. Well, let me ask you the question. When you have had this year, when you had your soup Joumou, did it taste the way you think Dessalines might have wanted it to taste?
Certainly not. Because first of all, I will be drinking it in Haiti with my brothers and sisters. As you know, one of the articles that I admire the most in Jean-Jacques Dessalines' Constitution, the 1805 Constitution, is that it says every Haitians, they are good, there must be good mothers, good fathers, good sons, good daughters, and most of all, good soldiers. So on a New Year's Day, a good Haitian, a good soldier will be home drinking soup with the rest of the family, and certainly protecting the country and strategizing to make sure that we ensure our future and the future of the generations to come. So yeah, I have soups because my body happened to be in the United States.
Okay.
But in spirit, we remain home forever. So, but yeah, I make soup every year, and I share with other people in the community who have not tasted soup. So it's become a cultural thing now. Every year I make soup and then I share it with people. So it's it is always a great thing. And I look forward to the day when the insecurity level will come down and us who are living outside of Haiti will be able to go home on a regular basis to have soup with our families.
That's a wonderful thing. Yeah, you know, I had mentioned earlier about what I felt was the symbolism of the soup at the time when you know, it was done prior to, or I should say, on the Day of Independence, and as declared in the Constitution. We here, Africans everywhere, you know, we have a special feeling for the people of Haiti, and we very much admire their resilience. And so when what is happening today in Haiti, or what has been happening, let's say the century and coming into this century, last century, 20th, coming into this century, it tears at our hearts, you know, because we love the Haitian people. We know what they have done. We know why the geography, the political geography of these Americas are the way they are. I mean, so it's really something to watch today as the Haitian people have struggled to be really free. That freedom that we imagine would have been there in the spirit of Dessalines, to watch it being torn down by the enemies of Haiti. And I say enemies because you can't do these things to Haiti if you're not an enemy of Haiti. How can we, in the world, the African world, what do you have in your mind, what do you think is lacking? Because
lacking.
well, and I say lacking, I mean, coming from us, what somehow we don't hear from the African world as to where, when it comes to Haiti. What is
I think you make a good point. But remember, Haiti is a beacon of freedom. She's the symbol that shows the rest of the world that we don't have to submit ourselves to slavery. And the work that Jean-Jacques Dessalines was doing was not freedom just for Haiti. Haiti was just the beginning. So when they took his life, I believe they thought perhaps they will, you know, tear down and prevent freedom from spreading to the rest of the world. In Haiti, the people who assassinated Jean-Jacques Dessalines continue to ally themselves with the occupiers, the colonizers, to keep Haiti in bondage. But I think, like every nation, you have to go through trial and tribulations to make it to the next level. I believe right now, we Haitians, we have an opportunity, despite all that is going on. It is a perfect time for us to rethink, because after the Dessalines assassination, we did not have an opportunity to strategize, to look at short-term, medium, and long-term perspectives for the nations. So yes, we are not hearing much from the African nations. Some of the situations we are living in Haiti is also very similar to what's happening to some nations in Africa. So I also think with Haiti taking the necessary step to move herself out of the current state of mind, we will also make way for the other nations in Africa to follow. Haiti is a leader, will always remain a leader. And we as Haitians needs to do our part to maintain that leadership that Jean-Jacques Dessalines had left for us. And I think with the assassination of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, a lot of his dreams and aspirations for the country was move away from what he objected, he wanted to happen. With Pétion coming into office and us having to pay indemnity to the French government, all these things did not allow rooms for Haiti to become a successful nation. When your economic system has been depleted to pay outside world, then you don't have the money to the resources to build the infrastructure. And going to earlier, you were talking about whether or not the peasants understand what's going on. Do they feel what's going on? The Haitian peasantry are the most well-educated individuals. Learning to read and write is one thing, but there is a certain type of education that you have. Even if you know how to read and write, you don't have it. Because sometimes I look at some of the most educated people who sit on the bench and gone to college. And when I speak with some of the folks from the peasants in Haiti, they are more comprehensive and they are more attached to the country than those of us who go out to study. So yes, they are involved. Yes, they understand what's going on. They may sit themselves down because they have not yet seen the leader that they have to follow to take them to the next level. They're taking their patience, but not because they don't comprehend what's happening. Because understand, when the US came to Haiti in 1915, they centralized the Haitian government in Port-au-Prince. But prior to the occupations or the invasions, we were all independence departments who were taking care of our businesses and taking care of our people. So much of our resources in the countryside have been depleted to support the greedy minds of the imperialist systems. So right now, we as Haitians here in the diaspora and those of us at homes who needs to resolve the problems, needs to bring back and go work with our folks in the countryside to rebuild the nations from the bottom up, whether it's through reforestation or whether it's to farmings, whether it is through raising livestock, like breeding again our Creole pig that was killed by USAID and the US government, whether it's to reproducing rice to feed our populations. That's very important. And you can imagine right now, while we are going through a crisis, a lot of people are losing their lives due to insecurity, and insecurity that is being created in part due to the international community, because we do not create weapons. The weapons, the majority of them are coming from the United States, a quote unquote good friends of Haiti. They know when the weapons are going to Haiti. They control the ports, and they know when the people go buy the weapons, the type of weapon that are being purchased and where they are going. Good friends will look out for you, right? But that is not what is happening. So all of that can be stopped and the Haitians' life can be protected. But in looking at the weapons that are being distributed to our young men and women in Haiti, it's also helped the imperialist system to maintain power. It's enabled them to control our popular neighborhoods, to prevent people from having the ability to go out and vote to elect the person that the people may wish to vote. And right now it is about control. So we Haitians have to find ways to go back into the thinkings. We are not Dessalines. Dessalines was a genius. He is a man of his own kind. He's reached his level. So we have to find our own ingenuity. We have to find our own greatness within these generations to do what was left, what Dessalines did not get accomplished. He broke the chains of slavery, but we ourselves need to break the chain and put Haiti in an economic stability where we can move forward, where our young men and women can stop fleeing Haiti. If you look at the migration situation that we've had with all those Haitians that were under the bridge in Del Rio, Texas, from September 19 to present day, the Biden administration had deported 15,150 people back to Haiti. That is 178 flights from September 19 to present day that has flown to Haiti. Many of the people that are going back are children that are days old, 3 days old, 2 days old. They put in the airplane. And the people that are being sent back home, they shackle them in chain inside the airplane. They only take the chains off when they are about to get off the plane. So we are looking at a system, democratic quote unquote society, but are treating people like slaves. So colonization is not over. We need to work to end colonization in all shape or form. And Haiti was the beacon that started the liberations of Black men and women through slavery. We need to take our responsibility and do what we must to move forward and take the economic prospect forward. And as African people, we need to invest into our businesses. We need to invest within ourselves. We have a lot of resources in Africa. In Haiti, we have the resources to move Haiti forward. But we need people who are conscious, people who align themselves with the nations, not people who want to align their pockets. We need folks who look at Haiti for the interest of Haiti, who will look at Haiti first, Haiti second, Haiti third, and Haiti last. That's when we can move forward. So for every African man and women like yourself and my queen sister and everybody else who's listening, who takes Haiti to heart and see what's happening and feel the pain that's going on, that's because we are all one people. We came from one motherland. Whether I'm in Haiti, you are here in the United States, we are one people. The struggle is one struggle. The struggle that the Haitians are facing in Haiti, it is no different than some of the struggle we face here in some neighborhoods in the United States. I always said to people right here in Washington, D.C., privatizations is a major issue here. We don't have enough hospital for our folks. The school systems need some changes to provide better quality educations to the children. Just like in Haiti, we need to build more schools. We need to provide hospital, and we need to make sure the money that is being put in the Haitian treasury is used to service the populations. Just here too, we need to elect individuals who will take into account the needs of the populations that are living in the community where they've been elected.
Well, I love what you just said. I applaud you, and I think you know, you said it with the kind of passion that I'm hearing as well from, you know, Queen Èzili, and you know, it means to me that the Haitian people, those of us who are not, I guess, connected as having been born there or in a family there, even though in the wider scope we are. It's only you who has touched the soil, you who have come from that soil, I think can really express what you just did. But of course, it moves me. And I am hoping that the way it moved me, it will also move those who have heard this, and we can relay that to others, because there is a need for us to make a move to free Haiti, to make Haiti really be free, and the free Haiti, hashtag free Haiti is part of what we all should get involved with. So I'm not gonna. I think I'll stop there so that if there are others who would like to have to say something or ask a question, may do so. I especially would like to turn this over to our folks from the UNIA, our senior folks who may have something to say or a question to ask.
Hello, this is Baba Congo. Greetings to everybody.
Greetings, Baba.
It's nice that we have the history and but I find that there's a recurring thing that happens in Haiti, and I don't know if there's a set of people that can put Haiti first, second, last, and third. Anyway, are those people the new government, or are they listening to Biden or whoever is there?
So
That's my question.
we have all kind of Haitians who loves Haiti in their own way. They don't necessarily speak with the Biden administration. And really, I am of the thinking that Dessalines and the rest of our founding fathers and founding mothers freed Haiti so we can be an independent nation, so we can be our own people. They give us a land with everything that we needed to become a great empire. So today, I don't subscribe to the idea of asking either Biden or anybody else in the international community for favors to allow Haiti to move forward or to become. So a lot of my brothers and sisters and colleagues, yes, they meet with the Biden administration. And I also understand we live in a different type of world and we cannot evolve on our own. We have to maintain diplomatic relationship with nations. But within those diplomatic relationships, there are certain things, core values that needs to be followed. Each nation needs to look out for their own best interest. Right now, the current relationship that the United States has with Haiti is one that looks for the interest of the United States, and it's not looking out for the interest of Haiti. So we Haitians have that responsibility. It is unfortunate that some of our brothers and sisters who are sitting with the Biden administrations are looking at interest, but the interest that they are signing on to is more in favor of what the US want. Right now, we need Haitians who are not afraid to lose a visa. We need Haitians who are not afraid to lose a residency. We need Haitians who's not afraid to say, you know what, there might be insecurity in Haiti, but I'm gonna be home because I need to fight to make it better. I need to stand up to make a difference. And we need Haitians who's able to stand and face the United States and the rest of the international community and says, no, we cannot sign contracts to allow you to mine our natural resources while our people lives in impoverished conditions. We need people who will stand in front of these nations and tell them, no, we cannot allow you to rewrite a constitution for us so you can take the lands of our people. So right now, there are a lot of folks that are talking to the Biden administrations. But what we need for Haiti and the type of independence and freedom that we seek, we will not get from the Biden administrations, and we should not expect it to get it for freedom is something that you fight and you take.
Yes. Yes, real quickly, first of all, thank you, queens and sisters, for both of you all's very, very spiritual, very, very focused presentations on what we need to do to be more self-reliant. I just want to say real quickly, if it were not for the Hayti movement, there would be no Garvey movement. That's a fact. Marcus Garvey himself made it very clear that he learned from various different Haiti brothers and sisters. But I say that as a person who served as President General of Marcus Garvey, all of the elders that taught me to work with Garvey always spoke about Haiti. Haiti is I think both of you all said it in your presentations in many ways. It's the root of the freedom from Urugu, from colonialism. And that's why today Haiti is experiencing some of the bad karma that it's getting. However, it's because of our apathy, not brothers and sisters there, but the Africans around the world's apathy for not rallying around not just Haiti, but our freedom. Because as far as I read, the Constitution was speaking about all African people wherever they were. And so that in itself is an indication that that is the forerunner of a real self-reliant and self-determined movement to free ourselves from the yoke of Urugu. So in closing, I think one of the most important things that I learned and heard again is that we have the spiritual power We don't need all the masses. We don't need all the numbers. We need a conscious group of brothers and sisters that are spiritual enough to put together the structures and the movement that is required to get rid of the yoke of Yorugu once and for all. So that will free up Haiti. And we got to start with the Francophone fools first. And I say that because, you know, a lot of times people romanticize about France, but they're some of the most dangerous Yorugu on the planet where it relates to subjugation of African sovereignty. And that does not let all the other ones off the hook, but they are the ones that pressed Haiti to give reparations to them when technically speaking, all we needed for them is to stay out of our way so we could rise. But they did that because they recognized that energy was going to wake up the rest of our Africans. So I just say that as a serious Garveyite, we got to do our work outside of Haiti to be supportive of our brethren and sisters in Haiti. And we certainly don't need the dinosaurs, reptilians, Republicans, nor the Democrats. We don't need them. What we need is our own African-centered leadership. And so I thank you all. And I know African women rule. And until our African brothers and sisters and Pan-Africanists overstand, African women rule. In closing, Dr. Tony Martin made it clear to me, no revolutions take place anywhere for anybody without African or without women and children. And I say that because it's very important. I mean, children, youth, and women are the key. And when our African brothers and sisters in leadership positions understand that, and we start to move more on an equal basis, then we will wake up. But I think you all's presentations are clear to indicate where we must go, more towards the positive and less toward the negative.
Definitely.
Ashe.
Definitely.
Ashe.
Thank you.
Ashe.
There you go. Yes. President PG?
Yes, sir.
Yes, your turn.
Well, you do
We've
have a
got
hand up.
We've got about 5 minutes.
Well, you have Sister
Sister
Tendai's hand up. Yes,
Okay.
I will yield to the Sister Queen, and whatever she leaves, I will use.
Okay.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. I get excited, especially whenever I see Sister Èzili, Mother of Creation.
Thank you.
Okay, so I need you all to understand Èzili is the Haitian or the Vundun name for Oshun, which is the Yoruba name for Aset. In each instance, it is the mother, the beginning, the woman who births, as Brother Senghor was saying. So there was a woman who birthed Dessalines and put that spirit of fire in him. And as I am saying here, we are all Haitians because we must carry that same fire of Dessalines within us in order for us to achieve our true liberation and self-determination. But it won't be enough as we just achieve it, because that Haiti is an example for us. It was achieved. And as we can see with the most recent administration here in the US, that the struggle never ends. It never ends. So we must always be vigilant, and we must always be prepared, and we must never let our guard down to think that we have achieved and therefore we have arrived and it's all over. So I just want to encourage us to recognize that we may get tired, we may get weary, but we must continue, because as our sisters have said, our ancestors demanded. Ashe.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. And I would assume, my brother, that leaves me about a minute and a half.
Take 3 minutes.
All right.
Or stretch it to 5. I know that's not enough for you. But
that's all
5.
right. But you see,
All
tonight, the sisters were the voices that spoke to the nation. And what I think brothers across the nation have to understand is that, as Senghor said, African women lead. They may give us an opportunity to stand, but African women lead. We are all born by women. So that means the universe is born by woman. It says woman. We say African queens. We speak to royalty. We speak to that which must be. We are born because we have a role to secure the future of our race, the future of our nation, but to support and to secure the future of African women. African women arise. It is not where you are, it is what we must do. We have to embellish, embody revolution, both here and afar. And at every turn, we must secure for African women their right place. If we lead, we must follow. Because if you can't follow, you cannot lead. African women arise. I want to say tonight's program was more than inspirational. It was more than motivating. It was stimulating to the point that we have to embrace that gift from those sisters. We have to understand the trials and tribulations of Haiti are the trials and tribulations of an African nation. We must recognize that our role in this battle is to secure for African people wherever we are their right to freedom and determination and to a government that speaks for them. You see, in the world today, governments don't speak for African people because they don't recognize African women and the role they must play. Even governments today that have African women in leadership do not understand the pure role of an African queen. I say asante to the queens that spoke tonight. It is both informative and educational because I know true to it as the African women of the Garvey movement, such as Queen Mother Mary Botha, such as Sister Tendai, such as Dr. Tenzera, such as Sister Charles, such as Sister Dantò, if I said that correctly, and if not, I apologize.
Èzili Dantò.
Such as understanding that we will follow you and we will go in front of you because we are the soldiers that must stand for you. Asante, my brother.
Grateful, President General. You're right on time, right on the button. I say ashe, ashe. Well, thank you. You've just heard from the President General of the UNIA ACL Rehabilitating Committee 2020. Brother Baba, I say this with pride.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah, Baba Akili and Nkrumah, and notice the name. He carries it well. So thank you very much. We are about to close, and I must thank everyone for being on this program.
Mama Yao Lovejoy has her hand up.
Well, that's one person we cannot ignore.
That's right.
Mama Ya, please say what you have to say.
Peace and blessings. I just have one thing. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. And that is what I'm most congratulatory of Haiti for teaching me. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Let us remember that as we move forward with the President General's permission.
Ashe.
Thank you. Somebody else had a hand up. Baba Congo?
Brother Congo.
Not a question, hopefully. Okay.
No, I just like to know where we go from here with Haiti so that it don't get repeated all the bad things that have been happening. I mean, it's the first country that was embargoed, and it's a country that United States always send back. When there was the Cubans in Haiti and in Guantanamo, they sent the Haitians back to Haiti and they sent the Cubans to Florida. And now they're shipping thousands of people from Mexico, the Black Caucus, and nobody's helping to stop that. And what can we do from here, and how can we help?
My brother, we just used up all of our time. I think that's a question for the continuation of this this discussion, which it's not going to end. We're going to have another one sometime during the year, because Haiti, the situation in Haiti is dire, and the dialogue will continue. And I thank you very much for that question. That's the Vice President, Congo, Africa, Vice President of Division 330, Woodson, Banneker, Jackson Bay, Division 330. And I apologize, my brother, for cutting you off, but you know, we have the time is against us, and we do have persons on the call who have to leave. So I thank you again all.
Baba
Yes.
Mosley.
Yes,
Baba
ma'am.
Mosley, I just want to most eloquently extend a note of thanks and gratitude to Sister Queen Eugenia Charles for just sharing the perspectives of light. And she gave us an action plan. We might not have been listening, but she gave a very clear action plan alongside Sister Queen Èzili Dantò. They gave us, they told us very kindly and very directly what we can be doing, not just what we can discuss, but the course of action. And it was said 4 times, 8 different ways. So let us reflect, let's just reflect, everybody that's looking at this, so that we can link with these sisters that are on the ground doing work, have connections in IT around the world, and make sure that we end this ignorance, this chaos, this terrorism, like now, not Free Haiti 2090, Free Haiti now.
And also, Sister Queen, this sister put in the chat that she could answer the question for the brother.
Oh, give
you're able, because it is true. An action plan is laid out for us. We must incorporate the action plan in what our actions are going to be.
Give thanks.
Because as we grow, we have to incorporate all of the challenges. We have to understand that African people throughout every hemisphere has a different set of challenges. And as a government under the leadership of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey's spirit and energy, it is our responsibility to address the concerns and challenges of African people all over the world. And as the sister put in the chat, and we will look to the sister to give us categorically an agenda. I know, brother, you got to go. I know.
Well,
we're going to look to her for that.
Yes, she has an address there and everything. I will convey that to the brother, and both of us will have that discussion or chat or to connect with the sister, because I'm sure that there's going to be a future time when we will have her again, because I'm sure, you know, spiritually we connect, and we want to have her give us again, both sisters, inspire us, that inspiration that we do need as a people.
And hopefully at that point, we will have made some steps in the direction that they laid out for us tonight. I say.
Oh, okay, folks, I thank you all again. And I say, with the motto to close, one God, one aim, one destiny.
One destiny.
This is the way we close. Thank you very much. Yes, Brother Sam, you can now take us out. Thank you. Thank you again, Dr. Chen. Peace be unto you.
Peace be unto you as well, my brother. I am so grateful that we covered so much in such a short amount of time, and I'm grateful. I think we may want to stop the recording and then come off of Facebook Live.
Brother Sam, have you disappeared on us?
Working on it. I'm still here.
All right. Thank you.
Brother Sam.
Thank you much. Green Èzili, thank you. Yeah.
And thank you, Sister Queen Eugenia, as well.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Without doubt.
It's like fire starter, my son. What? Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sam, take us out, bro.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.